ladies and gentlemen. This is Jason Lewis, the producer of the From the Shadows podcast. Thank you for tuning in tonight for this week's episode. We have a very special guest for you tonight who holds a lot of titles. I'm talking about Alissa Plakaros, aka the Cryptic Huntress. She is the author of a soon-to-be-released new book. She holds the title of being a cryptic researcher. She's a ghost hunter, and she has a healthy love for the study of aliens and ufology. She is a self-proclaimed crazy shark lady. Now you tell me, folks, what is there not to like about this lady? We're going to have a super time tonight. So without further ado, let's get this show started. And so let me turn you over to your host, Shane Grove.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of From the Shadows podcast. I am joined tonight by Jason, the producer. That's your cue to say hi, Jason. Come on.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
And the judge. The judge is gracing us tonight after taking a week off. How's it going tonight, Judge?
Greetings.
Greetings. Okay. Before we get into the episode, just want to say, did you guys have a good Halloween?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Passed out a lot of candy.
Passed out a lot of candy. Did you eat a lot?
Ate a lot of Reese cups.
Ate a lot of Reese cups. Well, I can't say that I blame you on that. I would eat a lot of Reese cups, in fact, right now, if there were some available. But
I ate them.
You ate them. Okay. Okay.
Well, you can talk about my Halloween in the our Halloween special when I did that investigation with our lead investigator Jerry in Kentucky at the Rawls House Opera House.
Yes, that was a great listening back to that episode. You know, it was great to hear you describing your first paranormal experience. And if anybody listening to this episode has not had a chance to listen to that, man, I urge you guys to go back because Jason tells a great story about his first experience. So, and speaking of first experiences, I think we're in for a pretty good tale tonight as we introduce our guest, Alissa Plakaros. Alissa, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Wow. Okay. I will not say it again for the rest of the episode. I will not. I promise, because I don't want to butcher it. So you are you're a hometown girl, so to speak, right? You're from
Yes.
You're from Bucyrus.
Yes,
North
I am.
Central. Yeah. Okay. So give us a little background on what a girl, a seemingly normal, nice, well-grounded lady in North Central Ohio would have an interest in the paranormal, the mysterious, the cryptids that roam this great state of ours. How on earth would how did you get interested in that sort of thing?
Well, it's something I've always been into. When I was a kid, me and my grandma used to watch like King Kong and Godzilla all the time together and horror movies, and I was sitting there wondering if things like that actually exist. So I was going to the library and get books about vampires, ghosts, werewolves, and like, well, someone's got to be back to these stories. So it's just been something that's always been into, wondering what goes bump in the night, kind of thing.
So in other words, you were just like the rest of us. There was nothing normal or sweetness about. You were just like the rest of us. Oh.
Pretty much.
Well, I think there's a common theme. I mean, I think probably Alissa is not unique. I think there's a lot more people out there that have an interest in the tagline, what could be lurking in the shadows. I don't think that it's, I don't think it's sex specific, boys, girls, the elderly, middle aged. I think there's a lot of people that have an interest in this. So I don't think she's any unusual individual.
So, Alissa, see, I screwed it up. I knew I would
This
do
would
it.
be like a swear jar. Every time you mispronounce her name, you got to put $1 in the jar.
The dollar.
There you go.
The dollar in the mispronunciation jar. Okay. So where did this fascination with things that go bump in the night? So where did the next step come from? From just beyond watching movies and reading books about it?
Well, I think it all started coming together when I went to my very first Bigfoot conference. We was camping, and me, my mom's ex-husband, and my cousin. My cousin was asleep, but us three heard a strange howl in the distance. That wasn't a coyote, it wasn't an owl. And when that howl went off, everything in the woods got silent. You could hear no crickets, no birds. You could probably hear somebody drop a pin. It got so quiet. Then it happened again to my mom when she was by herself, but she said it was closer that time.
So you guys are out in the woods at a Bigfoot. So you go to a Bigfoot conference, and it's something where you can also go and camp while the conference is going on.
Yes.
Was that down? Elise, was that down in Salt Fork State Park?
Yep.
Okay. So at this point, you've read enough books, you've watched enough shows, you've done enough research that you know what you're hearing is not normal. Like you're able to kind of work your way through it, and because I got to be honest with you, I grew up in the country. I grew, spent a lot of time in the woods, outside. I don't even know that I would know enough to pay enough attention if everything else got quiet. And I hear that a lot when people talk about having an experience with a Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever, where they say to the point where the wind even stops. It seems like it goes quiet. So you recognize that immediately, that when the howl went off, that something was amiss, because everything else heard the same thing and knew it was trouble, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. Am I correct in assuming that then? You knew?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been. My family is outdoors. We go camping, we go fishing, go hiking. So I like to be familiar with my surroundings and the sounds when I go out. And when that howl went off, we always laid there for a couple minutes trying to figure out what it was, because it blended in with the coyotes when it went off. So that's not a coyote. What was that?
So from that experience, so when you heard that, was that really the first time that you started thinking, I've read these books, I've been to these conferences, I've heard other people, have experiences, but this is the first time I think I'm actually hearing what is believed to be a Sasquatch?
Yes.
And from that, I would assume that sort of made you then the true believer. Obviously you were a believer before, but now having a personal experience, it probably, I guess, gave you that thirst for wanting to know more, wanting to see more, wanting to hear more. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, yeah. My mom became a believer, too, that day. Before, she was kind of skeptic, but ever since then, she knows there's something out there that's huge, I guess, that goes bumping at night when we go camping or something.
So Alissa,
from that,
go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
dude.
I was just wanting to say, so Alissa, so are you saying that you got a feel for the environment out there, and you hear the animals, the birds, the normal sounds you hear when you're outdoors when you're going camping, and you were saying just like when there's a bad storm or something, everybody, all of these animals and everything just seems to get quiet when there is a Bigfoot that's near.
Oh yeah, it seems every time I had an encounter, it was usually very quiet when it happens. It's been very rare that I've heard a bird or cricket when something happens, but most of the time it's been quiet when something like that happens to me.
So, do you feel it's sort of like a
Well, it makes perfectly
supernatural
good.
experience?
I don't know. I think so about it because I think the animals just know that the Bigfoot is like a top predator and they want to step back. So when it comes out, they all hide
Okay.
or just stay away.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'd say that Bigfoot would be classified as an apex predator, meaning it's at the top of the food chain. Nothing hunts it.
Oh, absolutely. Except for Jerry. Let's not forget about Jerry.
Oh god. Oh god.
So but that makes sense. So let me ask this then, Alissa. At this conference that you went to, and I know because we've spoke before, you've been able to meet and get to know some really big names in the Bigfoot research, area. So you want to go ahead and tell us some of the people who you've met at some of these conferences, and then we'll get into your own personal experience later on where you've actually witnessed what you believe to be a Sasquatch. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so tell us some of the people that you've met at these conferences, because I think our listeners, if you're a Squatch fanatic like the rest of us, will be really shocked.
I know Bobo and Cliff from Finding Bigfoot, Ken Gerhard, Lyle Blackburn I met, Nick
Now,
Redfern.
Ken Gerhard and Lyle Blackburn, if the listeners out there, if you've watched Monsters and Mysteries in America, Terror in the Woods, any number of shows on the Travel Channel, Destination America, these are guys that are renowned cryptozoologists who you're going to see, just about every one of those shows. So they were there. You got to meet them, got to know them, and would you say that you're friends with them?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How about I've seen the picture to prove it. I think you have a kind of a special friendship with Bob Gimlin as well.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Me and Bob are very good friends.
And for those of you who don't know Bob Gimlin, Bob is the godfather of Sasquatch research in the United States. It was him and another gentleman named
Roger Patterson,
who have the very famous video out in Willow Creek, California.
So the question needs to be asked then is, Alissa, when you go on to another podcast or go to one of these Bigfoot conferences next, and somebody says, hey, who are the famous researchers that you know? Are you now going to include Jerry, Jason, the judge, and myself? I mean,
yes, definitely.
Okay. When everybody stares at you,
Jerry is right up Bob Gimlin, because although Bob Gimlin may have the only real video of a Sasquatch, he's never tackled him.
No, and before we get into Alyssa's other experience, and discuss whether or not we believe Jerry truly could tackle Sasquatch, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this week's sponsor.
We would like to thank a new sponsor here at From the Shadows podcast, Gebhardt Financial, where owner Phil Gebhardt is so good with money, the Amish borrow from him.
Are we allowed to even say that about the Amish?
Relax. The Amish don't listen to podcasts. That's Gebhardt Financial for all your financial needs. If you'd like to retire sometime.
And now, folks, back to the show.
We're back with Alissa Plakaros. Did I get it right the second time?
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Do I get to take a jar out of the mispronunciation?
No, because you've
Or a
already
dollar out
missed
of the mispronunciation?
the time we didn't correct you.
Okay. Okay. So you've been out in the
Lisa,
woods.
tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
Gimli.
you've been out
you
in the
know-
woods. You've heard Bigfoot or what you believe to be Sasquatch. Make some vocalization. You've gone to these conferences. You know what's you know what it's all about. Go ahead and tell us what other experiences you've had.
Well, I've heard tree knocks before and like whoops, and I heard what they call the samurai chatter, like what they call Bigfoot chatter before. Actually, that was this year I heard that chatter, which was pretty creepy. And I've seen one twice. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but last year I seen same one or something like that
So
twice.
tell us. Let's go back and tell us how you got to actually see a Sasquatch. That obviously we've had a chance to talk before. That you have a friend that owns a piece of property that's pretty far back in the woods. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know you don't want to tell his name or where it's located because he doesn't want people showing up there. But could you give us a backstory on that?
Yeah, I have a friend that has a property in Middle Wayne National Forest, and his closest neighbor is about maybe 5 miles, and it's all Amish people. Only thing you can hear is cows go off every now and then. But the first night, it was roughly probably about 8 or 9. It was dark, and we was coming back from the Mothman Festival, and we turned the corner to go to his house, and I seen something in a ditch that looked like it was sitting down. That I looked out of place, and we got back to his cabin. He's like, he looked at me, asked me what's wrong, and I said, I think I just seen something, but I'm not sure. So the next day, we went out to go where it was, and it wasn't there. Well, it should have been. And
Okay,
then-
so was this a large? Was this a large object that?
Oh yeah, it was large. His shoulder, you could see. Only thing I caught a glimpse of was something that was really dark, crouched down to the ground, and was covered in fur. First, I thought it was a tree because there are a lot of trees out there. So I'm like, well, let's go make sure I didn't see a tree or a bush. And just looked at it wrong because you might play tricks on you at night. So I want to go debunk it. So me and him walked to what it was, and you can see what it was something laying down at.
Okay.
Seen it. So I'm like, okay, I definitely seen something, but I don't want to say what it was. And we went back to the Mothman for a little bit and came back for lunch. And my friend has a little offering area back on his property that he takes food out, like apples and stuff every now and then. And I was out there by myself. And when I go out
Well, let
to
me
the
stop
woods,
you there. I don't want to cut you off, but so
Fine.
your friend who has this offering tree,
yes,
did he tell you that he knew that there were Sasquatch out there and he was giving them, he was putting
Yes.
treats out there for them?
yes.
Okay, so what did you think about that? Did you believe him? Did you think, well, maybe he's making this
Yeah.
up?
I believed him because the first time I was there, that I heard me and him heard a howl, probably a couple feet from the cabin. It was clear as day, but it was very low. And when we sat back, we heard them walking. So I knew
Okay.
there was something there because his neighbor has seen one, and he's heard it. So I wasn't really surprised when he told me about it.
So you know all this, and you
Yes.
still are going to walk by yourself back to the offering spot.
Yep.
So you didn't feel like threatened or anything by this creature?
Nope. I didn't feel threatened at all.
Okay. Well, no wonder Jerry thinks he can tackle a Sasquatch if you think you can walk out there on yourself.
So at least
so obviously you've heard enough from your friend and the neighbor that they know they're there, but they've never done anything aggressive to make you scared. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So continue on. You're back there by the offering spot. Then what?
Yeah, I was talking. When I go in the woods, I like to talk to the woods, let them know I'm not there doing anything to cause any harm or anything like that. And I had it happen to look up a couple feet from the offering area, because that's the time. About this time was fall, so there was no leaves except for on the ground. And the sun was shining, and I looked up and I seen something come from behind the tree. And I seen a reddish brownish thing standing there, and the sun was hitting its shoulder, its chest. And I looked up and we looked at each other for a couple of seconds and then went back behind the tree.
So how big was it?
About 8 foot.
Now, when you saw it, what was your first instinct when you see something like that?
I was in shock because my mind was trying to figure out what I was looking at, because I know it wasn't a bear. No way. It was a bear standing on its 2 feet that big.
Was it making eye contact with you? I'm sorry.
Yes, it was looking at me, letting me know that it was there.
Wow.
And it was showing itself to me.
So you got a good glimpse at its facial features.
Mostly it's fur more than anything.
Okay. So I mean so first glance you're processing it's not a bear. Of course you were thinking that this is what Bigfoot is or this is what Sasquatch is. But was there any other thought like, oh my gosh, it's an escaped, it's a gorilla from the zoo, or it's...
Oh, no.
No, okay. So you're just, so you were prepared maybe a little bit more than a lot of people to see something like that. Okay. And you felt no fear as it was. And when you keep saying a few feet away, okay, how far is a few feet? Like 5 feet, or is it 30, 40, 50 feet? Like give us a little bit better.
Maybe 5 feet, because it wasn't that far from what I was standing at.
Now that is very close. Wow.
Oh yeah, he was pretty close.
Had your friend described what he had seen of these things before? Like he'd say, "Oh yeah, I'd seen them. They're 8 foot tall. They're brown. They're black."
The
anything
only
like that.
one he has seen, I know of, is a little black one. He said it was 5 feet, and he's seen it run across the street before he went to his cabin.
So does he believe that there's a family of Sasquatch that's out there? There's
Yeah.
Okay. And what about footprints? Did he ever find any footprints that he casted or anything like that?
We haven't cast them, but definitely there's a lot of footprints there.
So obviously, if you guys are going to the Mothman Festival and
Yes.
the and so he's into the whole cryptid sort of, is it ever crossed his mind to call up Cliff and Bobo and have those guys come out and do an investigation, or is he just happy knowing what he knows and kind of living in peace with these creatures?
He's just happy knowing, because they kind of have like a little special bond. So he just likes them. He lets them be. Let them be. He don't really bother them or anything. He just goes out there, talks to them, brings snacks every now and then, and that's it. He just lets them stay to themselves. He don't bother them or anything.
Did your friend ever tell you about that they might have given him a gift or something that showed their appreciation for him?
Yes, actually, they left me a gift too.
Ooh, nice.
My first time.
What'd they give you?
It was the day. My friend, he made vinyl bracelets from the grapevines.
Okay.
Those at, and he made 2 bracelets and a necklace. And he took me out when I first went there and showed me the offering area and stuff. And he put the bracelets up about 8 feet in the air because he's tall. And the next day I went out because I was bringing them breakfast, and there was a bracelet laying where I had the food at on the offering area.
See, there you go. Even Bigfoot knows that jewelry is the way to a woman's heart. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Gentleman Bigfoot. Now, if you can only teach Jerry that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, Alissa, could you tell us about your friend leaving peanut butter out?
Oh yes, this one, he leaves peanut butter out, and when he does, he opens it, takes off the plastic, and he closes it like really tight.
You're talking about a jar of peanut
Yes.
butter.
Yes, the jar of peanut butter. And there's been days he goes and it's open, and you can see like fingerprints in it, and then sometimes he goes back and it's gone, and it comes back completely empty, closed.
So it eats all the peanut butter and then puts the lid back on.
Yes.
We can't even get our teenager to do that. Whoa, how does Bigfoot do it?
I mean, so that shows you that it's not like a raccoon or something like that. A raccoon might be able to get the lid off, but it's not going to eat everything and put the lid back on.
Yeah. And
Well,
there's never
wouldn't
been
that
teeth marks on it either, on the lid.
Does he leave milk out for the peanut butter? Because I know that's just aggravating to eat peanut butter and then have it be stuck up there in the roof of your mouth. I mean, that would just be irritating, I would think, for the Bigfoot.
Now as I know, oh no.
Oh, okay. But I say that jokingly, but think about that. Think about how would a Bigfoot deal with peanut butter in the top and then in the roof of its mouth? I mean,
Well, my dog does just fine with it, so I don't really think it would be a big
yeah, but your dog's licking the peanut butter out of the roof of your mouth. Not.
Wow.
So let me ask you this, Alissa. So your friend knows that they're out there. You've seen footprints. He's seen them, but he doesn't want to bring people in from the outside. He just wants them to, I guess, basically let him be. Because if people actually knew where he was, they would have, my gosh, they'd have hundreds, thousands of people trying to get out there to see it, is my guess. Especially if they hear your story, how easy it was to go out to the offering tree and say, hey, there was.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see people doing that and really messing up a good thing.
Well, look, we've got a guy on the team that wants to tackle Bigfoot. I mean, imagine somebody,
Exactly. Imagine how bad Jerry would want to tackle a Bigfoot that had a jar of peanut butter in his hand. Okay.
And some jewelry.
And jewelry. So has either one of you ever tried to record the vocalizations? Have you guys ever tried to take video, take a picture, or are you just kind of like, we know what we know and that's good enough for us?
Yeah, he made a promise that we won't take a picture or anything of them. He said I can take a cast if I want to, but of course I can't say where it came from, but that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of cool that he's so, that you guys respect the creatures to that level, when there's so many people that would probably just die to have the chance to, go out there and experience that. It's kind of cool that, and plus, I gotta be honest, I don't think, and I've heard this discussed on numerous other podcasts about, when people tell their stories. I don't think if you guys took a picture, it would prove anything anyway to anybody, because everybody's gonna try to debunk it no matter what. So, I guess what's the purpose?
Well, I think probably the biggest concern, if it was me, is that you would have people showing up there trying to shoot one. Obviously, if you actually had a Sasquatch body carcass, one or two things going to happen. Either one, the men in black's going to show up and take you out and sneak off with the body, or two, you're going to be a millionaire because you're going to be able to sell this thing, to science or to museums or whatever. So I think the biggest concern was you'd have somebody out there gun happy trying to shoot it.
Yeah, that probably would be the main issue.
I'd be less worried about a guy trying to tackle it, and be more worried about a guy trying to shoot it.
Although I think maybe we do have the perfect situation where we could take Jerry out there. If there's a 5-foot, probably juvenile one running around, Jerry might have a chance.
Jerry might try to make a pet out of him.
Oh, gosh.
It might make a pet out of Jerry.
That's a problem.
And his friend have to put peanut butter out for Jerry. I want to see to put the lid back on.
Jerry ought to show up a little more often for the podcast recording, so we can't just totally make so much fun of him.
So back to Alissa. So let me ask you this, Alissa. So after having your experience of actually seeing one, going forward, did it inspire you to research other cryptids and memorialize them in a book?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so can you tell us, are you currently writing a book?
Yes, I am in the works of doing a book right now. About
Right,
Ohio
what's
cryptids.
it going to be about?
Okay. What do you have a favorite Ohio cryptid other than Bigfoot that you've written about so far?
The Mothman.
The Mothman. Okay.
Yes. I actually have a connection to the Mothman.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, can you share with us your connection to the
Yeah, I
Mothman?
can share.
Okay.
I don't want you to reveal anything that's going to be in the book, though.
No, it's okay.
Okay. All right.
It may make people want to buy the book even more.
I want to buy it. I know that much.
Okay.
I'm getting an autographed copy.
I want mine autographed, too.
Yes, yeah. Everybody will get a book.
Great.
You guys are shameless. Okay. Because they're
Yes, they
shameless.
will.
Hey, we love cryptids.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, me
so,
too.
So tell us about your connection.
My uncle was digging into our family tree to figure out, just because he wanted to, and Chief Cornstalk was in Point Pleasant, which I'm sure a lot of people know. Chief Cornstalk made a deal with the white men when they came over that they wouldn't kill him or his tribe. Well, of course they killed Chief Cornstalk, and they were believed that the Chief Cornstalk cursed the right man with the Mothman. Well, I'm related to Chief Cornstalk. I am also related to the people that found Point Pleasant.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the story is that Chief Cornstalk cursed Point Pleasant.
That's what some people believe, some people don't. But the Mothman's been seen around his grave every now and then.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'm kind of ignorant to the fact of, are there recent Mothman sightings, or did all this?
I don't know, but this is really weird for me. Every time I go to Point Pleasant, because we stay with my friend, every time I've been down there, I don't always go down there, not just doing a Mothman, just go see my friend. And I've always had a dream of two red eyes. It's only when I go to Point Pleasant. So I don't know if it's the Mothman or what trying to get my attention, but I find it really weird.
Well, so just to I'm just throwing this out there. What? So where your friend lives, where he has Sasquatch on his property,
Yes.
I wonder how much, because it's close to Point Pleasant, then, right? You guys are driving back. I mean, how close is that to Point Pleasant?
He lives in Rio Grande, so it's about 20 minutes maybe or so.
Okay.
It's not that far.
Almost makes you wonder if some of the Mothman sightings were actually Bigfoot sightings.
That's
Maybe.
interesting. That's interesting.
Without the, I mean, I don't know how many of the Mothman sightings were actually a creature with wings and not just something, big that took off. Or, I don't know. That's just something.
Well, there's that whole phenomena of bat squatch that's out there where.
Bats,
No,
yeah.
seriously. I mean, there's.
Yeah.
I think Ken Gerhardt.
Are you
Ken
sure?
Gerhardt or Nick Redford has a book that documents a Sasquatch-sized creature with wings.
He does. I actually have that book.
That wasn't just a sci-fi special movies.
No,
versus Sharknado or something.
No, there's some really good. There's some pretty telling accounts about Sasquatch-looking creatures with wings that have swooped down and people seen them. The one guy got picked up, and I mean, it was on Monsters and Mysteries, and it was on TV, and it's in. I can't remember whether it's Nick's, but I think it's Nick's book that covers that. So a lot of things out there, obviously not explainable.
Oh yeah.
I'm really surprised you didn't say your favorite cryptid was Dogman.
No.
So when do you expect the book to be ready for purchase?
I am hoping by beginning of the year, because I got to finish up. I had 2 interviews and I have another one I'm waiting for. So hopefully as soon as those get done, I can finish my book and have it published by the end of this year, beginning of next year.
Ooh, yes, we'll be very excited.
Yes,
Indeed.
Yes.
Of course, because these guys want to, beg for a book and have it autographed and everything. So, Alissa, let's. You have an event coming up. So this podcast will be coming out on Friday, and you have an event on Saturday. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm having an event at our library Saturday. I'm talking about ghosts. It's from 12:30 to 1:30. And as they like to say, I am the expert of everything strange.
So you're going to be at the Bucyrus Library on November 9th from 12:30 to 1:30. I believe the title of your talk is called Ghost Talk.
Yes.
And yes, the library is advertising you as an expert on all things strange.
You better bring Jerry.
You gotta bring Jerry. Oh my gosh! Listen, if you guys are gonna make me pay $1 for every time I mispronounce something, you're gonna have to pay $1 for every time you make fun of Jerry. Now, come on, that's only fair.
Yeah, but I thought that was the whole point of the show. The whole point of the stuff is just kind of window dressing.
Well, that I mean, Alissa, you've told us these are some great stories. Okay, and we're all looking forward to the book. And I think the really cool thing is you're right here. You're right here in town with us.
Yes.
I mean, I think we kind of feel blessed to have come across somebody who's is enthusiastic and interested in the stuff that we're interested in. So we've talked about this before. So we're gonna, all the guys in the group, we want to extend the invitation to you to come join the From the Shadows podcast crew as a lead field researcher. number one, because we think you're probably the only one that can read and write, since you are putting a book together. And Jerry insists on being the lead investigator, so we can't make you an investigator. But if you would be interested, we'd like to make you part of the team, and anoint you the lead field researcher for the From the Shadows podcast.
Yes, I would love to join you guys.
Sweet. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Welcome
Now
aboard, Alissa.
Thank you.
Now, in your email tomorrow will be a whole list of things we need you to research for the next podcast. Because we just don't have enough time to cover everything. So we'll sign off here tonight, and hope everybody enjoyed getting to know Alissa a little bit tonight, and we'll be looking forward to talking to her some more as she brings some stuff to the show. Jason, any parting words?
Well, once again, I'd like to say welcome aboard, Alissa, and look forward to working with you. And we got some work that we'll be doing with the Ohio Paranormal Society here in the near future. I think that you'll be interested in.
I'm
Yes.
looking forward to that.
Good.
How about you, Judge? Any
Yeah, I'm just going to send a shout out to all the listeners out there. Reach out to Alissa on our Facebook page, Twitter page. If you have something that you'd like for her to research, I talk to people who have interesting accounts. We now have a researcher that we can send out and collect data and get your story and see if we can help you find out what's lurking in the shadows.
Yeah. Since the book's not done yet, maybe if we get a good story or two, who knows? Maybe a story you suggest may end up finding its way in the book. How about that? Can't guarantee you get any credit for it. But and before we sign off, I want to congratulate the judge on, I'm assuming you were reelected as the judge.
Ran unopposed, so I only took one vote.
Ran unopposed. well,
Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you.
Just so you know, I wrote in Jerry, because I think he would look good in a robe. So thanks for joining me. Oh, jeez. So thanks for joining us tonight, and we will catch everybody next week. We have a really exciting episode next week too. So make sure you tune in for that. So good night.
Good night, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, a final word. Please visit us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/From the Shadows Podcast, and on our Instagram page at instagram.com/From the Shadows Podcast. You can visit our webpage at FromTheShadowsPodcast.GoDaddySites.com, or contribute to our Facebook discussion page called After the Shadows, and tweet us on our Twitter feed at twitter.com/podcast_from. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you all. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.